about to build my beehive stand. I went to Home Depot and was trying to figure out. I just been playing around with configurations, like how it may not be how I want it, but this is like a cheap beehive stand that you know, it's affordable, and then it'll hold a couple hives. And as I grow, I can just add more poles to it, add more center blocks, and then just keep going. I can kind of adjust it as I want it to grow. To note is that you always want to have the front of the hive a little lower than the back of the hive. I'll put my hive on here so you can see how it's looking. This is just one box hive because I've seen you only start with one box and you start adding it later. And the bee population grow. My bees will come in next week. Just looking at it, I can kind of tell that I want the front of the hive to go to tilt a little bit. See if I can use this to kind of get it tilt on the front. Tilt the front to tilt to the front so that if any rain comes in, it doesn't get into the hive and then accumulate at the back of the hive. So I probably that's pretty much how it's gonna be. I gotta play around with it a little bit. I'll play around with it a little bit and see how I can wedge it up. But that's pretty much, and I'm gonna put 2 hives on there, and then I'll still have room. So when I'm working in my hive, I don't really like this. So I'm gonna take it out because it doesn't look like it's like wedging like I wanted to. So I'm gonna put something on the bottom. But like, so I like it like this because then I can put a second hive. But when I'm working on my hive, I can always use the center and put frames in the center or the top. And the reason why I went with this with 4, because you can do it a little cheaper. You can just do this one. You can do these and sit it straight up like this and put your boards through, and then just do one more on that side. But the reason why I did the 4 as opposed to 2, and I'll use it for something else, is because then I can use that as kind of a stand. So now I have a built-in stand on each side. So when I'm working in my hive, I got places to put my equipment. I can put my smoker down. I can also, if I'm working on other boxes, I can take, once I start using more boxes, once the bee population grows, and I'm using more boxes, I can just easily take it off and sit it on the side so that, you know, it's a little bit more than put it up on the ground. And I put this border underneath it for weeds, just so that it wouldn't get weeds, and so when I cut the grass, I can just easily, and I can take my push mower, and I can mow all around it. That's kind of what I was thinking when I did this, when I laid it out. And I wish I would have started filming when I was thinking about laying it out, but I didn't think about it. But yeah, that's pretty much what I think I'm gonna do. I think the only thing that I'm probably gonna do is take it all apart and then prop up a couple of these, see if I can find more on the backs to give the back some height, just so that the front dips. So if it rains really hard, if rain get in the hive, it'll just fly. It'll just slide out the front, as opposed to accumulating in the back of the hive, in the back of the bottom board, and then causing moisture and killing off the bees and stuff. Hopefully I can find some more of those over here in this hive. Save these little pieces of wood in case I want to move it. Hopefully I can find a few more. I got one. I got to find a few more. Oh, hang on. Oh. So, that's good. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. Pull it all apart. Put these two sets of wood under each one of these, just to give it some height on this side only. And then I'll probably bring the level out here and make sure that it's leaning forward. But that'll be my hive stand. And I do have a second hive. I need to go in and paint it and get it ready. And if that second hive will be out here, and I'll video probably when I bring it out. But I need to paint it. I'm gonna paint it the same color because I got some more yellow paint. But yeah, I'm gonna throw a few coats of paint on it, and then I'll bring it out and put it next to it. But when I was thinking about getting a hive, a hive stand, I was pricing them, and they were, decently priced. And I was like, well, what about growth? If I wanted to make it taller, all I have to do is use this one, because at first I was going to make it taller, but then I was like, I think that's plenty, because then it's less on my back to pull and move. If I'm pulling boxes, I'm a pretty short person, so if I have a double box and two supers, I can easily do it at this level. So nice level off the ground where stuff's not getting in it, but it's also not too high where it's gonna break my back to actually do some work in my hive. So that's why I kind of went with that. But that's why I got a couple extra cinder blocks, because I didn't know what I was gonna do. I just kind of had an idea in my head until I got out there and started playing around. But I think it's working now. Like I said, the reason why I did this is because you don't have to have any tools. It's really affordable. So each one of these blocks right here, it was $2, and then this 4x4 was $10. I want to say like $10.99, so $11. So if you wanted to be really cheap, you could spend $22, about $26, and you can get you a decent little hive stand. Because you would just use one of these on each side. Yeah, you would use one. You would only use 4 though. So you would use 4 of those, as opposed to 8 like this. So yeah, you would use 4, so that's 8. So probably under like $30. You could probably get, for $30 you can get a really good hive stand that you can have multiple hives on. So yeah, that's it. No.